Okay, so a few people have asked me to make another one of these videos where I kind of talk about my past, as I made in an earlier video. So I will. Like you guys know, I grew up in a small town. So I went to school from kindergarten to ninth grade with just about almost everybody. I would go kindergarten through eighth grade with just about the same people through that entire time. So the same friends, same enemies, all the way through those years. I had my group of friends just like everybody had theirs. When I was a kid, I was told that I had attention deficit disorder, or whatever it was called back then, hyperactivity or something like that. So I would have to take Ritalin. And I think that started either kindergarten or first grade, putting me on these ridiculous drugs. But I remember I had a bit of a temper when I would get pissed off, but you know, what kid didn't? I remember there was an incident in first grade where some kid during recess had tripped me and laughed about it, thought it was real funny. So later on that day in class, there was a point where they brought a tray of like milks around. So we would drink our milk and rest or nap or something like that at our desk. And I decided to take my milk and go over to this kid and dump it on his head. I thought that would be pretty funny. So of course it landed me in the principal's office. It ended up being a place I spent a lot of time. Got to know the principal really well. A guy named Mr. Buffington, who has since passed away. But you know, it ended up. I think it ended up being a good thing for me because I kind of learned a lot from Mr. Buffington, and it helped me, you know, throughout the years in school. I remember just the things he would teach me, you know, about self-control, and about learning to get along with others and not to take things so seriously. And you know, a lot of times I'm still a kid, so it was tough to to really listen to those things that he was saying, but I tried to implement as many as I could in my life. And he was a really just a great teacher, and a really a shining example of what a principal should be. So it was I don't know, it was interesting growing up and having the same group of people from you know, for 9 years of your life. Everybody eventually broke into their own little cliques. You know, it was the cool kids and the this and the that, and I don't think I was part of any of that. But it was pretty interesting growing up in a small town. We in this town we used to have, oh, I don't know, I'm sure they still do have it. It was called Day in the Park, and they would have there would be a baseball game going on. There would be rides. There would be all kinds of little food booths and things of that nature. And I remember one time I went there with my family, my grandmother, my uncle, and my other uncle, who was 3 years older than me. And they had a booth there for oysters. And, you know, here's my Uncle Louie, thought he's a big shot. You know, I can eat all these oysters. I'll eat the orders. And I think it was just a few bucks for a dozen oysters. So, you know, he wanted to do it. So, you know, he paid for the oysters. And, you know, he grabbed them and slurped them down, and thought he was all cool. Oh, yeah, I eat all those oysters, man. You see, no problem for me. Well, about a half an hour later, he was hurling up, throwing everything up that he had just eaten, and he was just sick as a dog. I remember just thinking about it, laughing and laughing and laughing, and thinking it was pretty funny watching that go down. And It was just, it was pretty funny. As a kid, you're growing up with, even though he's my uncle, it's like growing up with a brother. He's 3 years older, and he tormented me when we were younger, and we fought just like brothers would fight. So I think it was pretty funny to see that happen. I don't know how interesting that is, but that's just a small bit of living life in a small town where everybody knows you, everybody. When I was growing up, the mayor that I remember the most lived just a few blocks from me. I delivered his newspaper. When I was a kid, I delivered the afternoon paper, which was the Bergen Record, and the morning paper, which everyone got, which was the New York Daily News. And still today, on my iPad, I have a subscription for the New York Daily News. So it's a paper that I've read for, I don't know, I probably started reading the Daily News when I was 8 or 9 years old, reading about the sports section and the Yankees. And I still read it today, and this year I'm going to be 40. So, I got over 30 years of reading this newspaper. And I delivered it for many years. So that was back in the day when you actually had newspaper boys. Now today it's some adult driving around in a car throwing the newspaper, and they have what would probably have been 15 routes back when I was a kid, and you don't have the days of the kids too much more coming to the door to collect for the paper for the week. Now it's all just billed through the mail. Probably less paperwork, less hassle. I don't even know. I haven't been to a small town in such a long time, so I don't know if it's still like that. If any of you live in a small town and you still have a newspaper boy who comes to collect, let me know. It'd be kind of interesting to know if anybody still has it. I'm sure in these small rural towns there probably is, but I can't imagine anything outside of a large city would still have that. And where I lived was Maywood, New Jersey, and we were outside of Hackensack, which was a large city. We're surrounded by a lot of good-sized cities, I guess, but it was a town of less than 3,000 people probably. I think it was something like 2,700 or 2,800 people in that town. You know who the cops were. You know who the firemen were. You know who everybody was. Everyone went to the same restaurants and places, and there was only one dry cleaner in the town. There was only one bakery in the town. Those are some of the good memories I have of growing up in a small town. So if you guys like this one, I'll keep on doing a little more, and next time I'll just pick one subject to talk about, and I'll just discuss that. But thanks for watching my videos, and thanks for sending me messages and let me know that you want to see more. I know I don't have that many subscribers, and I don't have that many views, but those of you that view it, you like it, and you ask for more, so I'll keep doing more. And I really, I love making videos, so I'm just going to keep putting these out there. And I'll keep putting out the videos of when I was working out. If you watch those workout videos, you could probably tell that I'm a much smaller than I was back then. So those, just when a lot of people keep commenting about the videos, and I've put a description there saying that this is something that I filmed. I had never expected to put it on to YouTube. It was just for like family and friends to take a look, and for a diary for myself to have. But it's something that I filmed. I started filming that in July of 2011, and I think I did that for about a year. So that's 2011 to 2012. So if you're watching that, please just realize that it's a couple years old, and that it's just kind of a diary to show you what someone my size, or my point of view of my size, goes through in trying to lose weight. But anyway, thanks, and I'll make more. Goodbye.